kids are getting pretty wild in there, man. Is that safe?
Yeah, they're fine. I've got their keys.
Everybody, we're going to start off where we left off yesterday, talking about the American Civil War and the
Hey, have a beer, man. You deserve it.
It's not worth it. Underage drinking risks everything you're working for.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Safe Streets meeting today. My name's Chris Schultz. I'll be your host here, and welcome. Thank you so much for being here to make sure that Topeka and Shawnee County can become the safest capital community in the country. Give yourselves a nice round of applause for being here for that. Of course, we'd also like to thank our friends at City 4 and Ronaldo over here for recording today's broadcast here so we can put it out for many people in the city to watch. So give them a round of applause for being here as well. And of course, we'd like to welcome any visitors. Do we have any visitors in the house today? Oh, we do? Okay, great. Let's find out who these guys are over here. I didn't know you'd raise your hand. What's your name?
I'm Braden Black.
And where are you with?
I am with Doc Saza, the Topeka Rescue Mission.
Very good, very good. JC here.
Janice Black, his mom.
All right, well, welcome here. If you're interested in signing up, please talk to Judy. I'm sure she'll shake you down here by the end of the meeting to become a member. All right. Now, please welcome Cindy Patton to the front. She's going to talk a little bit about the tip of the month. And she loves that applause, too.
Well, the November tip of the month is based on our word of the month, gratefulness. The quote is, "Show gratefulness and express appreciation for our neighbors, as it will allow us to continue working to make our community better." So we thank you so much, and it's a great time of year to be thinking about what we're thankful for and what we're grateful for, and certainly neighbors and friends, it's a great time to express gratitude to them as well.
Very nice, thank you. And of course, Cindy's part of our Character Council, and at this time we'd like to bring our Character Council up to the front so we can have the press conference about this month's Champion of Character. And give them a nice round of applause as well.
I would like to call Brandon Black up to receive an award, and of course I want to thank our Character Council for being here to recognize him. Brandon, we know through NetReach, he's a wonderful administrator of that program, and I will let Shelley tell you a little bit about him.
Okay. I should have saw that smile on your face walking across the parking lot. It was like something special was happening to you today, so this is fun. Brandon, as the strength of our nation is dependent upon the health and safety of its communities, the strength of our community is dependent upon the character of its citizens. So we, the Character Council of Kansas, in conjunction with the Topeka City of Character and Safe Streets Coalition of Topeka and Shawnee County, recognize Brandon Black. Brandon was nominated for mentoring participants of the Dare to Grow program at East Avondale. He guides a large group of children and young adults through athletic, creative, spiritual, and character-building activities. Brandon shows an interest in each participant and knows them all by name so that he can personally greet them as they enter the school. His commitment to their success is evident in his mentoring to help them overcome any obstacles they may face. He demonstrates benevolence, enthusiasm, and tolerance. These characteristics make Brandon Black a champion of character. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You can introduce
Well, thank you guys so much for this opportunity. I didn't know until I got the call, which was great. I was driving and I was like, oh, okay, great. First, because I think Nellie Hogan was the one who nominated me, and the first thing, me and Nellie go back. She was up front with me every day for A Dare to Grow, and she was doing registration with me, so we both had to have some really good conversations. So when they called and be like, oh, Nellie Hogan put you up for an award, I was like, oh, what did Nellie do this time? But it was really cool just to be nominated for this, and I just want to thank all of you guys for what you all do, because what you guys do is just as important as what we do. And it's not just me, it's all the volunteers who spend all their time, who come out here. It's for the whole community of the city of Topeka for praying for us, and just for really allowing us to go out into this community and really hang out with these kids and really start making a difference for them. And again, it's not us, but it's everything that all of you guys do as well. So I just want to thank you and give you all a round of applause as well, because we couldn't do this without you guys as well. So thank you guys.
And I also wanted to plug something for Topeka City of Character. We are going to have an unveiling of character calendars this year, and the calendars are special for Topeka. They are being created by Topeka West students, and it's as part of their each word of the month. They've gone out and they've done artwork or photography in the community, and that artwork is going to be on display on December the 2nd at Topeka West, and so that people can see the beautiful calendars that are going to be produced. And so we would also encourage you to be sure and purchase those calendars. I think they're going to be about $10 a piece, and a lot of those proceeds will go to Topeka West for their program. It's kind of an entrepreneur class that they have, and then we'll get a few bucks out of it too. And then we also want to let people know that we are going to ramp up the Word of the Month again this year. Topeka Capital Journal has agreed to make it a part of their publication every month. They will be the presenting sponsor, but we need individual businesses to be sponsors as well. So if you are interested in being a sponsor, you can go online, or you can talk to Noni Kramer, and she would be glad to give you more information about that program. Thanks.
Of course, thank you to all the folks at the Character Council, and I think Brandon and his mom deserve another award for me putting them on the spot here at the introductions before they even got their other awards. So give them a nice round of applause again for our champion of character. All right, now just a reminder, if you're here, please be sure to sign in with us here at the yellow sheets on your table. This is the part where we get the business meeting done here. So we also have a copy of the minutes on the table. If you've had a moment to review those, we'll look for a motion to approve those from last month. We have a motion. Do we have a second? And we have a second. All in favor of approval of the minutes, please say aye. Opposed, same sign. All right. Minutes are carried. Now please welcome the Executive Director of Safe Streets, Christy Pankratz. She loves that applause. I know she does.
Hi guys, how's everyone doing today? Great. It's great to see all of you in the audience, some faces that I haven't seen for a while, and some new faces. Shout out to one of our board members, David Mesky, and his kids, who are part of that initiative with the City of Character, so give them a round of applause for being here. We are going gangbusters right now at Safe Streets. Neighborhood Watch, I don't think I've ever seen as many right now that we're doing as we have in the past. And you know what? That's what we like. So if you have a neighborhood, an apartment complex, anything that you know of that would benefit from getting together, give us a call. That's what we're here for. And around the holidays is a perfect time to do that. On your table, you may notice some little green and red things. How many of you are planning on doing some Black Friday shopping? There's got to be more than that. I see more ladies. Come on. So these are just some things to keep in mind when you guys are going out and shopping. Or if you're ordering online, I know, how many people like to order stuff online? I do too. Just some things to keep your packages safe. They're common sense reminders, but they're important. So be sure, we will send this information out electronically. Be sure to share it over social media, to your networks. Just with all the people that are out and about this holiday season and will be shortly, there's more opportunities. So what we can do is remove those opportunities. And that's really what we want to stress this time of year especially. The Lock It, Remove It, or Lose It campaign that we have going is right, you can see the visual over there. Nikki Roberts, Nikki, raise your hand. If you have any need for brochures or emails or decals regarding Lock It, Remove It, or Lose It, Nikki would be happy to help you with any questions regarding that initiative. Coming up, we have a few things. Retailers Association is for loss prevention officers, store managers, anybody who's looking to prevent shoplifting and financial crimes at their organization. We also have a substance abuse task force. Now, this is a group that has been called different things over the years, previously underage drinking task force, but what our concentration is on youth under the age of 18 who are using substances. We have different grants to fund this. We have a new STOP Act, which is a federal grant, and we also have a state-administered grant to address marijuana as well, too. So really what we're doing at this meeting is we want to look at data, and that's where we need your help. If you have any vested interest in youth, I encourage you to attend this meeting. We will be sending out more information to the coalition about time and location and RSVPing for this. But it's really critical that as we start these grants, we take everything in the right direction and it's community supported. So we will be asking for your help moving forward. With that, I believe it is time for updates from our law enforcement officers. First up is Sergeant Dan Wilson with the Topeka Police Department. Dan, would you like to come on up?
All right, we're going to talk about the crime stats first, and then we have a little bit of a new twist today. We're going to talk about some stuff we've done. Person crimes, you can see robberies to individuals is up along the lines of what Christy was talking about. You know, when you're out shopping and running around during the holiday season, be mindful where you're at, who's around you, your surroundings, don't be a victim. Everything else on there is looking pretty good. Property crimes, kind of the same MO. I mean, lock it, remove it, or lose it. Obviously, we're losing it right now. We have a ton of vehicle break-ins. Lock your stuff up. You know, if you leave your car unlocked, you're going to be a victim, whether you want to or not. Theft is down, which is obviously good, and then the license plates again. If you have those anti-theft screws, use them. If you need them, come get them from us. And then we're ready for the next slides. The new twist we're going to do is each meeting we're going to go over some stuff we've done and then some stuff we're going to do. This is department-wide. It mostly pertains to the community policing unit, but it's department-wide. The first slide is we had a anti-crime summit over at Highland Park High School with the city council people from those districts. It was open to the public, just discussed stuff going on in that part of town. We had a nice turnout for that. Also the Pathfinders program, which is, we've had, I think, 3 of them on the east side of town. This was the first one we held on the west side of Topeka. The goal is to bring youth before their middle school, high school age, have some positive interaction with the police. Kind of the age goal is 6 or 7 up to 10 or 12. We had about 20 kids for this one. We had it at the Topeka Bible Church. It's a nice way for us to spend some time with the kids and, you know, see them on this side of things versus, you know, when we're actually at work. We showed them, you know, some of the things that we do for our job, motorcycles, bicycles, the crime scene unit, and then we, you know, spent some time doing some push-ups with them and had pizza and food. So, and then this slide is about something that we're going to start doing. We're going to start pairing up with the community centers around town, and this community policing unit, as well as our cadets, are going to try to have a activity for about an hour once a month at each one of the community centers, for the kids, you know, to see us, you know, as actual people and not just a uniform. So it should be fun. Hopefully we don't get beat by the kids. And then finally, the kind of the same thing Christy was talking about, you know, holiday stuff. Like I said, don't be a victim. You know, protect your stuff, protect your property. Like she talked about with the packages and stuff, you know, talk to your neighbors. If you are a victim, think you're a victim, let us know. I mean, we can't help you if we don't know. That's probably one of the biggest things we see is like on social media is, you know, somebody will put on there that they're a victim of a car burglary, but they don't tell us. Well, we don't know, or if you have video or evidence, we can't help you. So, like I said, lock it, remove it, or lose it. Don't be a victim during the holiday season. I'm done.
Thank you. You bet. Thank you, Sergeant Wilson. And might I say, it's a classy looking beard you have there, my friend. All right. And now please welcome Deputy Anderson with the Shawnee County Sheriff's Office.
Good afternoon. I'm going to talk to you guys briefly about our Citizens Academy that will be starting up here soon. Our next academy will start in January 4th. It's a 13-week program. We meet every Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. It's a great way for citizens of our community to learn about what we do at the Sheriff's Office and different law enforcement related information that we share with everybody. I can stand up here and talk to you guys about it for quite a while, but we thought who better to explain to you guys about our Citizens Academy than some people that have actually gone through it. So I'm going to ask Chuck and Sue Lacey to come on up. They went through our academy a couple years ago, and so they're going to talk to you guys a little bit about what they learned and what their experience was.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. The Citizens Academy is awesome. It brings together the citizens that are in the class, but it also brings them together with the law enforcement officers. Two of my favorite parts of that academy class was the lie detector test. The gentleman, the officer that came and talked to us, oh my, you would never believe what they go through. Well, y'all would, but what they go through to get a good profile on that lie detector test. The other thing that was my favorite was when the SWAT team came in and brought all their equipment. As you can see, I'm not very big. And they put all their equipment on the table, and I went to go pick up one of the vests and immediately went to the ground. The officer had to help me pick it back up. I don't know how much your equipment weighs, but I would imagine your equipment weighs about as much as I do. But it's so important to have that communication between law enforcement and the citizens of Topeka, well, the citizens everywhere. I did want to say something about this morning. Our prayers and hearts go out to the officers and their families in Iowa. I just cannot imagine what y'all must have to go through every day. It just breaks my heart to see United States in the shape it's in today. But it's so important for the citizens and the law enforcement people to come together and to be one, to be united, to know what each other are going through. It's important for us to know why the law enforcement wants us to put our hands on the steering wheel if we get stopped. It's those kind of things that we learn in the Citizens Academies. Thank you.
Yeah, by going there, you learn a whole lot about what our law enforcement does. You know, and I didn't realize until I was there just exactly what the sheriff's deputies and the officers go through, the training that they have, and the different things that they have to do. I didn't realize how big this county was until I went on the ride-along. And I hear people complain because it takes so long to get there. Well, do they realize that there's only a certain number of deputies out there on the streets, and they may be clearing a different area and have to go all the way to another one? It takes a while. And it's just really, it's awesome to go with that ride along and see, you know, what they go through, where they have to go, and the things that they do. And I found that they're real good about explaining everything to you, exactly why they did this or where they're going and what we have to do. And they're real good about, you can get out or no, stay in the car. And if you listen to them, you'll learn a whole lot. And it's been a real eye-opener for me, I know, to see what they go through. Where I was in law enforcement way back in the 60s and early 70s, and boy, you talk about a change. And I'm glad to see that change, because it means that we've got some officers and some deputies that are really well trained and they know their job. So if you have a problem, don't be afraid to call them. That's why they're there. And they will come and they will help if you allow them to do so. We just have to have our faith in them, because they're out there doing it. They know what they're doing and they protect us. And I'm glad that we have the ones that we have here in this county and in this city. And we thank you very much for what you do. We found all this out at the academy. I mean, it's really something to see what they do. Thank you.
So, like I said, our next academy will start up in January 4th, every Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. If you or anyone you know is interested, you can find an application on our website, shawneesheriff.org, or you're more than welcome to come into our the law enforcement center, the sheriff's office side, and you can pick one up at the front desk. We have received a lot of applications so far, so if you or someone you know is interested, probably need to get that in as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Anderson. All right, and we've got something to celebrate coming up here in Topeka and all over the country with Veterans Day. And Topeka's really gone above and beyond where we ever have been because of the next group I'd like to introduce to you. So please welcome Ron Brown to the front, who's going to tell you a little bit about what we've got going on here. And I know Ron loves the applause, so.
We are blessed to have a Veterans Day parade coming up this Saturday. Not only do we have a parade coming up, we have a festival ongoing. And we are going to have a lot of things going on in the downtown area around 8th and Harrison on Saturday morning, starting down at 8th and Jackson at 8 a.m. with a pancake breakfast for all of our veterans. We are also then going to have a festival that begins at 9 with a car show, with a motorcycle show, with bouncy houses, with all kinds of activities for children and adults alike. And then at 11 o'clock, we will kick off the Veterans Day Parade. I can tell you that we have had a group of very, very dedicated individuals, to include Melissa Jarbo and Penny Jambold and a whole bunch of folks that have been working for almost a year to put this parade together and this event together. And so the most important thing for us is, the most important thing we want to ask you to do is to come and join us on that morning. The parade kicks off promptly at 11. We will have a skydiver who will fly in and parachute into the area. Along with that, the parade will go down Harrison to 10th Street over to Jackson. We will have military and military veterans organizations and individuals involved. And so we just want to invite all of you to come down and pay tribute to all of those who protect us on a daily basis. You know, we are thankful to law enforcement and the tremendous work that they do in our communities, but we are blessed to have a military and veterans who would protect us throughout the world on a daily basis. And this is simply our opportunity as a community to come back and tell them thank you. So I hope that you will all join us on Saturday, November 5th downtown around 8th and Harrison. The parade will begin at 11 o'clock and pay tribute to all of those heroes and warriors who have fought on our behalf. Melissa, anything you want to add? I'll be your poster holder.
Oh, he's my poster boy. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so we're going to be around the state capitol, and so I know everybody in here has Facebook, and so I'm going to make a plea to you right now. I need you to go on Facebook. I need you to go on the Salute Our Heroes Festival event page or the Topeka Veterans Parade event page, and I need you to share that because I refuse to pay for advertising. I'm cheap. So I need you guys to help me advertise that. I just want to remind you the Military Veteran Project is still 100% volunteer-led. So we have over 50 volunteers that have been working hard on this. None of them have received a dime, a salary. I don't pay him for anything. But he does a great job. So for that, guys, we'll be at the state capitol. We're going to have a great day of events. We hope to see you all there. So thank you.
Woo-hoo.
And of course, one thing we have to say with Melissa, several years ago, no one was doing anything for the veterans. There was no parade, there was none of this. And it just took one person to go start asking the right questions to get it done. And that was Melissa Jarbo. Give her a round of applause. All right, and now please welcome our next special presentation. Please welcome John Hunter from Heartland Visioning.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Appreciate it. Well, welcome, everybody. We're going to start off by showing you the recent commercial that we just produced starring Mayor Walgass. And this commercial is going to be running on all of the major TV network channels over the month of November. And this will give you a little bit of an overview of what Heartland Visioning is about. So let's go with the mayor.
Hello. I want to share with you some exciting news about the progress we are making as a city. The revitalization of downtown is underway, and in 2017 you'll notice many more changes. The Jayhawk Theater and Constitution Hall projects are moving forward thanks to their leadership. Noto is now in Phase 2 development. New shops, parks, and housing opportunities are planned for our Arts District. Through our partnership with the National Park Service, plans are underway for the development of an Oregon Trail Park. The Army Corps of Engineers is now upgrading our levee system to provide flood protection and future water recreational opportunities. This will take time, 3 to 5 years before we are through. I ask you to join me, your City Council and County Commission, in celebrating our partnership, working to improve the quality of life in Topeka and Shawnee County. Thank you for joining me in being Topeka proud.
Isn't that a great one? Yeah, our mayor does a super job with that. Do you want me to have the clicker for this? We'll give this a try. All right. So we have a little PowerPoint for you today that will take you a little bit more into detail. So I usually start off with a couple of questions. We assume that not a lot of people know Heartland Visioning. They may have heard of it, but they're really not quite secure with their knowledge of it. So let me start by asking you this. How many of you have either been to Noto or know about Noto? Let's see a raise of hands. Look around the room. Isn't this great? How many of you know that changes are happening downtown? Let's see a raise. Okay. All of those are Heartland Visioning projects. Okay. In 2008, 5,000 people were surveyed in our community and said, this is what we want to see changed. In 2009, the organization was formed up. Things got started. I was involved with that. And under Quality of Life Foundation, it said the people wanted an arts district. And now you know you have an arts district. Do you need this? Yeah. Okay. You want to get that set up? Okay. So now we have an arts district. The people also said we wanted to revitalize downtown, and now you see it. Now, one of the things that happens, Noto has actually only been there for 6 years. Okay, Barbara Waterman Peters, our first artist, signed her contract back in December of 2010. Okay, but guess what's happened in 6 years? 34 new businesses over there. And on a good first Friday night, like this Friday should be, they'll have up to 2,000 people walking the streets of Noto. That's quite an accomplishment. Downtown, people kept saying, you're not doing anything, you're not doing anything. That's because it took 3 years just to get the engineering drawings done, to get all of the agreements between the public and private partnerships. And on the private side, I hope, if you haven't heard, you should know, over $3 million was raised for the beautification of Kansas Avenue. So what did the city do? The city did infrastructure. That's what they should do. But then the private sector came in, and that's why you have those beautiful pocket parks downtown. That's like people like Cody Foster's putting up a new hotel downtown, and Jim Klossman's going to be opening up new restaurants downtown. That's where the private sector plays their role. So those are two big projects. We're going to run through a couple of other things just to give you an overall idea here of what we're involved in with Heartland Visioning. So when you think about it, if that word facilitating works for you, or convening, that's what we do. We bring people together. We don't have to be in charge of things, but we'll look into our community and we'll say, all right, we need to address this, so I need you, I need you, I need you, I need you. Come on around the table and let's get some things started. So we're a facilitating organization that works in the areas of quality of life. Back in 2008, when we got this project started, we talked about we wanted a growing community, prosperous, dynamic, and trusting community. Those things still apply today as being significant to our community. Here's the catch, and that's why I started off asking you to raise your hands. When we talk about the visioning process, oy vey, it's complex. It's complex. Shelley would tell you, I'm standing up in front of the county commissioners 2 to 3 times a year. I'm up in front of the city council. We work with the mayor. We work with planning department. We work with the neighborhood development department. It's a very, very complex process. And it requires public-private partnerships. We do not ever take the position of, well, what's the mayor and the city council doing for us today? No. It's what can we all do together to bring about change to our wonderful community. And that's what it takes. It takes public-private partnership. Cities and counties need to do what they do, and the private sector needs to take responsibility, step in, and do what they can do. And again, it takes time. And because it takes time, we have to be adaptable along the way. We do not lock ourselves in 1 year and say, this is the way it's going to be. We say, let's just get it started, and we'll move along the way and address the issues as they come up. So adaptability is an important component for us. We also do 4 simple steps. We call them simple steps. They again are a bit complex, but we keep it down to 4 things that we want you to think about when you think about Heartland Visioning. First off, we go out and we do these things. We do engagements all over this community, and we look for feedback. We survey the community all the time. So we listen first. And then we bring that information back to our management team. That's where the strategy comes in. And then from there it goes to our steering committee, and they break up into network teams, and those are where our volunteers really go to work on the different projects and activities that we're involved in. And then the last thing we do, again, these types of things as well. We come back to the community and we try to keep you informed. So, do we make commercials? Yep, we do. Do we put articles in newspapers and magazines? Yes, we do. Do we make public appearances? About 30 a year that Kristen Brunkow and I make public presentations. So, we do whatever we can to keep you all informed. We do various surveys. This was from 215, talking about quality of life, and I just love one of the qualities, you know, real people and real friends. And I look around the room and I say, boy, isn't that the case? A real community working together and that. And things to be proud of, places like Washburn University, Washburn Tech, and others. And you can see Noto is certainly up there in our state capital. This year, we've actually been working with the Washburn University Market Research class. And very interesting findings. We surveyed over 1,000 people of all different ages. And here's the end result. Those people who identify themselves as being proud of our Topeka community, Topeka, Shawnee County, if they're proud of it, they're likely to tell other people about how good they feel about it, and they tend to spend more money in our community, which means economic development is directly tied to pride. So when we have the mayor in a commercial going, "I am Topeka proud," it's all about pushing out that idea of being proud of who we are, being proud of our city and our county, because it will have an impact on economic development. These are currently our strategies, our priorities for 2014 through 16. Dynamic core, we pay attention to everything that's going on from 10th Street all the way up here to Gordon. Community pride, obviously that's where our commercials come. Entertainment ties into that. Transportation, we work with Susan Duffy. We work with the planning office. We look at the trails, programs that are going on, the bike share, et cetera. Parks and recreation, well, that keeps us involved with things like the historic Oregon Trail Park. Recruit Topeka First. That is a wonderful new one that we started just this year, finding out some great things about what we need to do to keep young people here, and we're taking some great steps to bring that about. So, a sense of place projects. This is how we work. We call these our spider charts, but remember when I said facilitating? Remember what I said, I want you, you, and you? So this is the collaboration that we put in for phase 2 development of NOTO. We found an outside funding source. They brought in national consultants, John Lamont West and the Lakota Group. We brought in all the neighbors from North Topeka. We involved the county. We involved the city. We involved the NOTO Group, Red Bud Foundation, which is associated with Kaw Valley Bank. This is a concept design that they started working on that was all-inclusive from the river all the way up past Gordon Street. We did community engagements. We did 3 of those this year. There were just shy of 100 people at each one of those in order to get community input. Here's the one that's working right now on the Oregon Trail Park. Now this one is even more extensive because it involves things like the National Park Service, a group called Freedom Frontier, Visit Topeka, which handles all of our big festivals and tourism. The Topeka Rescue Mission is involved because of their association with the property out here, North Topeka Business Alliance and that. So this is what's making up and driving that project. What's happening there? Well, just last month, nope, it's 2 months ago now, back in August, the National Park Service came to Topeka, spent an entire week here. How many of you already heard about this big charrette process? Did you see it in the paper or hear about it? Let's see a raise of hands. How many were somewhat aware of this? Okay, so we've got some of it. Well, let me tell you, on the Tuesday of that week, 109 people gave up an entire day to sit in this room and work through this charrette process, giving input to the National Park Service as to what type of a park we would like to see designed. We broke all records. The National Park Service told us they've never had that many people involved. They average usually about 20 when they do these things. We also had people filling out a survey for the National Park Service, expressing their ideas. They average, are you ready for this? 2 to 3 responses. You know how many responses they got back from Topeka? 46. People sat down, took time to say this is what we want to do. So when we talk about engagement, getting people involved, it is really going on. This is just one of the renderings that came out of it, the idea of creating a little flowing pond through the property out here and possibly the recreation of the Pans ferry that used to cross the river. Some of you may not know the history of all of this, and I'm not going to go into it, but I'll tell you this. We have documentation that at one day in time, a person wrote that in front of Constitution Hall, which is right across from our post office, back in about 1856, there were almost 1,000 wagons lined up to cross the river here. And for those of you who are Oregon Trail buffs, that Oregon Trail went right through here, right between our 2 bridges and linked on up. Now, are there other places up and down the river that they crossed? Yes, but this is ours. And we have it verified and documented with the National Park Service. Very, very proud of what that represents. Downtown, you saw this in the commercial. Certainly the Jayhawk Theater project, I don't know how many of you read the paper this morning, but they just received some $650,000 of approved funding from the transient guest tax. That means that money is paid for by people who visit the city. It's not coming out of your pockets. They've just hired a new executive director for that project, so that's really moving forward. Constitution Hall, the reason the state of Kansas came in as a free state for the Civil War and that whole bloody Kansas, remember that? The Missouri Ruffians and the big Quantrell's raid over there in Lawrence. All of that occurred because of what took place in that building back in 1856. We established a Congress to create Kansas as a free state because Lecompton, which was our first state capital, was filled with people from Missouri who wanted to bring us in as a slave state. So the whole history of freedom for the state of Kansas occurred in that building. And you can go inside of it today. You can see where the House and the Senate met in the upstairs area. And that's all under major renovation as well. Partnerships and initiatives. This was one of the great ones that we really brag about. It's now a little over 2 years ago, we discovered that although there are 21 NIAs in Topeka, and Christy works with all of them for that national night out, believe it or not, we were dumping millions of dollars into downtown Topeka, and for the residents of downtown Topeka, there was no NIA, Neighborhood Improvement Association, which means if you were an individual, it was your voice into the wind. When you form up into an NIA, you have a collective voice. The police department becomes involved with the NIAs. The city provides money for NIAs in order to get things done. The NIAs can do what the Neighborhood Improvement Association in North Topeka did, and that is get involved with what is called the SORT grant, which is federal money that flows through the city, which in the case of the North Topeka neighborhood, over $2 million is now flowing into that area. And that's involving redo of the roads, curbs, sidewalks, gutters, alleyways, etc. So we wanted to have something happen in the downtown area. So what did we do? We facilitated meetings. We brought all the different people together from the city and other NIAs to try to understand the situation. And then we topped it off after 2 years of working on it. We had a big barbecue down at the YMCA on June 16th. We had 65 people show up for that, all from that neighborhood, and people signed on board, and we now have a functioning NIA in the downtown area, which we're very, very excited about. We also formed partnerships with Safe Streets, with groups like Heartland Healthy Neighborhoods. Yeah, get that picture of there of Safe Streets. Planning and implementation. There are so many things that are going on in the city. And part of our role is in communicating out to you that, by gosh, there's a lot going on that we should be excited about. There's a whole bikeway master plan. So for those of you who like to ride bikes, you should see what's going on. You have already seen the little stripes in the street. You've already seen those blue signs that are going up all over the city. And right out here, when you look out at those levees, eventually the tops of those levees are going to be finished off as bikeways and walkways. So just think of how much fun it's going to be to come over here, park in the parking lot, walk up onto the levee, and take a nice Sunday stroll overlooking the river. Really some exciting things being planned. The master plan, pedestrian master plan, there's a new wayfinding plan that's going to get rid of all of those ugly old wayfinding signs that we have around the city. All of that is moving forward. Again, the master planning for NOTO Phase 2. So a lot of stuff is going on. We're really pushing the Topeka Proud. We've been making these commercials for the last couple of years. Some of you may have seen this one that we did last year. We're in the newspapers. We are looking at any opportunity we can to try to develop pride in the community. And we should be proud of ourselves. I know a lot is said about Manhattan and Lawrence, but between the three cities, we're the big dog. We're bigger than Lawrence. We're bigger than Manhattan. But we're the big quiet dog in the room. We don't do much boasting about the great things that we have going on here in Topeka, like this organization right here, like the work that our sheriff's department and our city police are doing for our community. We don't do a lot of bragging, and that's going to change. That's going to change. New things are coming that are going to start promoting our city on a regional and a national level to say to other groups, come take a look at Topeka. And as the mayor said in his commercial, 3 to 5 years we're going to need to finish off all these projects, to get the downtown hotel functioning, to have a riverfront historic Oregon Trail Park here, to have phase 2 for Noto on its way. But when we're done, this city is not going to look like it did back in 2010 when some of these things got started. So again, we work in this collaborative environment. This is the spider chart for the recruit process that's going on. Mars has been involved with us. SHRM, which is the Society for Human Resource Management, tied in with the real estate offices, Parks and Rec, Sunflower, et cetera. All of these things are happening. We go out, this is our listening tour that was just tied in with that project alone. We went out and met with the HR people to understand what are their needs for recruiting people. And the stories that they told, you know what they said to us? Get the jobs done. Get the streets fixed. Change the image. We need aesthetics improvements in this city. If we're going to bring people here and offer them good jobs that we have, we've got to make sure that we've got a great-looking community that is forward-thinking if we're going to attract the young millenniums. Yes?
Why isn't the Department of Children and Families in KBC? Why aren't they involved?
That's a good question. This group right here that you see, this was just accomplished in the last month. The listening tour that we're on, that is a non-ending thing. The whole recruitment is going to continue on into 2017 in terms of our looking at these things. Talk to me after this. So this is sort of I think this is the wrap-up slide, but just so we'll give you a little understanding of how Heartland Visioning is networked into this. So we have working for Topeka and Shawnee County. So my office is over at the Chamber. So when you walk in by the Chamber, there's the Chamber of Commerce, Matt Pravarnik, who heads that up. Then there's Go Topeka. Fast Forward, which is now Forge, that's the young millennial group for the young entrepreneurs and young executives. EMBD, which is the Entrepreneurial Minority and Business Development, is housed there as well. Excuse me. And so we collaboratively work together. So the idea of quality of life and sense of place, those areas of focus that we pay attention to, are directly tied to the economic drivers of our community, like Go Topeka, the Chamber, EMBD, and now the work that Forge is doing for our community. Again, a lot of people don't know this. We try to get the message out because we think this is really an exciting partnership. These are really the people who are working to drive change in this community. And we are really, really excited. When we say we are Topeka proud, we truly mean we are Topeka proud. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions about anything that I brought up here today? I don't want to get you out early, but at the same time, I didn't want to talk right up to the hour. Because if you don't ask some questions, then I'm going to ask some quiz questions for you. We'll see who passes today. So do me a favor, would you? Do this. Just say to somebody, did you ever hear Heartland Visioning? If they say, what are you talking about? Just say, hey, Noto. Say, the downtown, Those things are all happening. And you know what? It's happening through public-private partnerships. There's a host of visionary volunteers who, if any of you'd like to get engaged in this process, let us know, and we'll bring you in, because it is open, it is transparent, and it is all working for you to bring about positive change to our community. So thank you very much for listening today. Appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed. And tell people about the mayor's commercial. Oh, I'll tell you this, social media, somebody said something about social media. We're not going to pay for advertising. Brenda, is she still here? She had to leave. So the mayor's commercial, we just sent it out through our social media networks last Friday, and it just started to air yesterday. Somebody give me a number. How many hits do you think we have so far on our Facebook page from the mayor's commercial? Oops, that's close. Yes, that is close. She said 30,000, and actually the count that I had at the end of yesterday was over 23,000 already, people who are looking at it. That's amazing, isn't it? So we're going to take that commercial, we're going to start promoting that a little bit more on a regional basis to let people know that Topeka is really forward-thinking and we are on the move. Thank you so very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, John Hunter. Now we'd like to thank you all so much for coming out to the meeting today. Remind you that the next meeting is December 7th. Please be very careful, be mindful, lock it, remove it, or lose it as you go to the shopping season. I got to say that in there. And we'll see you back here next month. Also, please be sure to fill out those surveys and let us know what you thought of today's meeting. We'll see you next month.